Hello, and welcome to another RANGROO's unit of the week, and today we're going to take in a look at the BTR-90 for the Soviet Union. The BTR-90 was produced in the 1990s by the Russian Federation to be a continuation of their BTR series of real transport. It's very same to the other ones from the previous decades. It's got, 8 reels, it's fast, same sort of structure, whatnot. It has some improved optics and other little gizmos that make it a lot better. The main difference, though, is the armament. Instead of just carrying a 30mm autocannon like its BTR-80 predecessor, it could also feature a automatic grenade launcher as a secondary weapon, and even some versions of the BTR-90s were equipped with anti-tank guided missiles, and today it is still used by the Russian Federation as a mechanized vehicle for mechanized units, but it could also be used as a marine infantry transport. In game, the BTR-90 is a 30-point Soviet infantry vehicle, and it has 2 weapons available to it. Its first weapon being the AGS-17, a 30mm automatic grenade launcher with 300 rounds available, a range of ground of 1,225 meters, 525 on helicopters, 15% accuracy, 10 while moving, 1 HE, and a rate of fire of 142 rounds a minute. Overall, it's your rather standard automatic grenade launcher. It's not entirely accurate, but it's great for suppressing targets, stunning them up mainly, and it's really good with dealing with infantry, so it's a fantastic infantry clearing weapon. And secondly, we got a 30mm autocannon to complement the grenade launcher of 510 rounds available to it, a range of ground of 1,750 meters, helicopters 1,575, 40% accuracy, 30% while moving, 3 AP, 1 HE, and a rate of fire of 374 rounds a minute. Overall, it's a rather decent autocannon. 40% accuracy it's not your Bradley, but it can still hit targets, and you're going to be getting a little bit closer with a BTR-90, so that will also compensate for it. Pretty much, it's your standard autocannon. It does have some good AP power at 3, which is a bit better than some of your other Blue 4 ones that are only 25mm to 20mm. And if you take a look at its miscellaneous stats, it has 2 frontal armor, 2 on the side, 1 on back, and 1 up top. 10 HP, a medium size, poor optics, a speed of 100 km an hour off-road, a road speed of 150, has an autonomy of 800 km. It is also amphibious at a whopping 50 km an hour. That's actually faster than most British tanks. A year restriction of 94, and it can only be brought up in motorized and marine decks. Also, it is a prototype unit, meaning you can only bring it in Soviet and Soviet Korea decks. In battle, the BTR-90 is a very fast and hard-hitting infantry vehicle. It can be brought up with a lot of different types of infantry, such as Motostractly 90s, Russian Marines, and all 3 versions of the Spetsnaz from VMF, GRU, and your standard one with the Napalm rocket launchers. Now, the BTR-90 is rather lightly armoured. It's not great in a head-on fight with anything that has a decent cannon, but it makes up for that all in speed, and this thing is flipping fast, 100 km an hour. Only a few other vehicles in game go at speed off-road, making the BTR-90 very effective in early game rushes. If you want to get into a town quickly with really good infantry, the BTR-90 is your best bet. Load up some with some Spetsnaz, Moto 90s, all the Russian Marines, Moshchaka Pehotas, if I even said that correctly. You can definitely dominate those early game town fights quite easily. The grenade launcher and autocannon are a fantastic combination for dealing with pesky infantry inside of enemy towns, so you can blow them out so your infantry guys can move in. Overall, it's a pretty good vehicle. It has been nerfed since the patch in February. It does cost 30 points now compared to 25, and 30 points is rather expensive when you think about it. For 5 more points you could get a BMP-3, which also has anti-tank capability. But if you need to do an early game rush, you need to get into a town fast or to a flank fast with some pretty good infantry, you can't really go wrong with the BTR-90. Just a very fast, hard hitting vehicle, great for infantry support. You don't really want to use this thing against armor. Mainly it's an infantry killing machine, like a fast BMPT but without the 100mm cannon. And I'm going to leave it off at that. This has been another RANGROO unit of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as usual, please just take it easy.